Hello, I'm Mike, and this is Will. We are the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And we're bringing you issue 35 of Warhammer 40k Conquest today, where we get a Primaris Chaplain for the Space Marines. As always, if you want to skip to the battle, check the time code in the description. Heading into the issue, obviously we've got some background on the chaplains, the sort of inspirational, spiritual leaders of the Space Marines, and their role in sort of maintaining the chapter's loyalty to the Emperor. And going into their war gear here, you've got the bone armour and skull mask, and the Crozius Arcanum. Some more ages of the Imperium, heading up to the current day. And some fiction here about a Space Marines chaplain, leading his brothers into battle. And we have the build guide for the Primaris Chaplain. So once again, this is another £22.50 character model, but this one has absolutely no options with it at all. So what you see is every single Space Marine Chaplain is going to look like this, unless you modify him yourself. And the painting guide, so you undercoat in black this time, because Primaris Chaplains, or Chaplains in general, are mostly black, because traditionally that's the colour they wear. And you've got the red robes, nothing too difficult at this point, painting-wise. The only thing I would recommend is to paint the Astrogranite, if you're going to use that, or if you're going to use a texture paint, is to do his base first, so it doesn't matter if you get anything on his cloak. It can be a bit less, you don't need to be quite as careful not getting it on any of his armour. But run down over, we'll head straight into the mission now.
And here we are onto our mission. There's a bit of background here, Sacred Defence, and then the actual title of the mission is Defend the Shrine. And then what we have here is the deployment zone with 2 eagles in it, and the only units that deploy on the board are the new Chaplain and the 5 Reavers who start in that deployment zone, and all the rest of the Space Marine army goes in reserve. Then the Death Guard army gets to go first, and they move on from the other table edge over here, and they move on in their first turn. And then Space Marine reserve units can move on at the start of any of the Space Marine turns on from the other board edge, like that. So that's fairly simple, but the victory conditions that we have are 1 victory point for each unit eliminated, a victory point for the first player to just completely destroy an enemy unit, so first blood, and then a victory point for each unit that ends in deployment zone A at the end of the game, which is 5 battle rounds long. So Death Guard essentially have to run the length of the field and get into that deployment zone. Space Marines have to stop them. And then, obviously, we have rules for our new Primaris Chaplain, who is fairly standard Primaris Space Marine character. 5 wounds, the usual. He's weapon skill 2+, so he hits on 2s in melee, but only 3+ with shooting. And then he has the same Absolve War Bolt pistol that the Apothecary has, and a Crozius Arcanum, which is strength +1, AP -1, 2 damage. But then it's his special rules that are the interesting part. He has Litanies of Hate, which means that friendly Space Marine units within 6 inches of him re-roll all failed hit rolls in the fight phase. And friendly units within 6 inches can also use his leadership instead of their own, which is 10. Well, it's 10 because he's an Ultramarine successor. It normally would be 9, we discussed that briefly last issue. And he has a 4+ invulnerable save as well. So, once again, quickly, we have our campaign map, and the Death Guard won the previous game, which is here. So we're going to, since I won, I get to choose, and we're going to play in contested territory again, there, the battle's actually taking here, according to the description, so quite close there. Essentially because the Death Guard bonus that I have, it makes units better in melee, and none of my units are really that good in melee. So there we're going to have a look at the armies, and then get straight into the game. So here's our Space Marine army that will be defending the shrine. We've got the new Primaris Chaplain, the Librarian, the Reavers, who will start with the Chaplain, the Hellblasters, and the Intercessors. And here's our Death Guard forces. We've got 2 characters, the Noxious Blightbringer and the Biologous Putrefier. We've got the Myphitic Blighthauler in the back, 5 Plague Marines, and 12 Poxwalkers. The Space Marine units have deployed in this deployment zone.
So yeah, we've got the Reavers taking advantage of the only bit of cover in the deployment zone. So they're all within an inch of the pipe and behind it, and then the Chaplain's going to stand behind them.
And then all the other Space Marine units are in reserve. The Death Guard move on at the start of their first turn. The Death Guard get to go first, so we're going to go straight into Death Guard turn 1. The Myphitic Blighthauler has moved on normally. It's 10 inches, it just about gets within 2 inches of that ammo box. And then everyone else is going to advance. Obviously the Noxious Blightbringer has a special rule that means that units can re-roll their dice if they're within 7 inches of him, but since nobody's actually starting on the board, I guess technically they're not within 7 inches of him because they're not on the board. So I'm not going to use that rule for these first advance moves. perhaps I will use it just for him, because he is his own aura. So he will roll 2 dice. But we're going to do the Poxwalkers first. So they roll 1 dice. And get a 1. And the Poxwalkers have come on there, they're in the area of cover. Next we will do the Plague Marines. So 1 die, 2. A little bit faster. And that brings them to there. And then I'm just going to roll for the 2 characters at the same time. So we'll do the Barachias Putrefy. He gets a whole inch as well. And then the Noxus Blightbringer rolling 2 dice. Still only a 2. That gets them to there. And then we're going to move on to the shooting phase. Only the Plague Marines with Blight Launchers and the Blight Hauler itself can actually shoot. So we'll do the Blight Hauler shooting at the Reavers, obviously, because it's the only target available. So we'll start with the Multi-Melter hitting on 4 re-rolling 1s. It hit. It wounds on a 2. It does. You get a 6+ save for being in cover.
6+, you.
D6 damage, 5.
So I'll take this guy off the end because he's the least in cover.
Okay, then we'll do a Crack Missile, hit on a 4. No, the Wild Spurt isn't in range. And then we've got 2 Plague Marines with Blight Launchers, which are assault weapons. So because it advanced, it means they're hitting on 4s. That's Reavers, obviously. 2 hits didn't make
Made a difference.
Those 3s didn't hit. Wounding on 3s, 3 rolling 1s, and 2 and a 1. 2 or 2 and a 1, so no wounds. Then obviously no charges, far too far away, so we're going to be straight on to Space Marines turn 1.
So at the start of my movement phase, I'm going to bring on the Intercessors in this little bit of area terrain here, so they can see the Poxwalkers. I'm not going to bring on the Librarian or the Hellblasters, because they're just going to get shot at and probably not have that much effect.
Okay.
I'm just going to shuffle the Reavers a little bit so they're all up against the pipe. Into the shooting phase, the Intercessor squad will shoot at the Poxwalkers.
Okay.
So we've got 5 shots hitting on 3s. Some cold dice today. Right. 1 hit, wounding on a 3. No. So that'll be it for my turn.
Yeah, that was a very simple Space Marines turn 1. On to Death Guard turn 2. Well, my first action is going to advance the Poxwalkers again. Now they are within 7 inches of the Noxus Blightbringer now, so we get to roll 2 dice and pick the highest. 6, that's a bit better. So they get to there, like that. Plague Marines then move up to there, and then both of these characters are going to advance as well, so we'll just do the Barachias Putrefy, rolling 2 dice now. 5, and the Noxus Blightbringer gets a 5 as well. That gets them to there, didn't need all that movement, just wanted to get them a little bit up front, and the Blight Hauler has pretty much stayed where it was, moved a little bit up closer. So on to the shooting phase, and we've got the Plague Marines, and so they're just about within 2 inches of the ammo box. They're going to shoot everything at the Reavers. Didn't advance this time, so our Blight Launchers are hitting on 3s now. Rerolling 1s because the ammo box. So 3 hits, wounding on 3s, 3 wounds.
3, 4+ armor saves.
Yeah, because you're behind the cover.
Made 1, but on a 1 I take a mortal wound because of the dangerous cover.
Oh yes.
So I don't take a mortal wound.
Then the damage. So 2 and 2.
So 2 more Reavers go down.
Then we've got the plasma gun. We will supercharge because of the ammo box. So just about within 18 inches. So 2 shots with the plasma gun hitting on 3s. That's a 1 and a 1. So let's try again. That's better. And winning on 2s. Double 6. 5+ because you cover.
Made 1. So
and then 2 damage takes out.
Last Reaver goes down. Just Sarge left.
Let's see if the Blight Hauler can finish him off. So the Multi-Melter hits on 4, rerolling 1s, it hit again, wounds on a 2, no, didn't.
Yeah.
And the Crack Missile hits on 4, rerolling 1s, and does wound, 4+ save from this.
Nope.
D6 damage, 2.
Yeah, Sarge goes down.
Take him out.
2 victory points, 1 for first blood and 1 for killing a unit.
But that will be all my shooting, because the characters are in range, so we're going to be on to Space Marines turn 2.
So my room, I brought on the Hellblasters and the Librarian now, so they can all see the Plague Marines, and the Librarian is closest to the Plague Marines. The Chaplain's just going to scoot into the area terrain, so he's got cover, and the Intercessors will stay where they are. Onto the Psychic phase.
Indeed.
So the Librarian will try to manifest Smite.
Okay.
Needs a 5, gets it with an 8.
Yep, can't stop it this time, so...
D3 mortal wounds, 2.
Disgustingly resilient. Ignored 1, so we'll lose a bolt gun.
He'll try and do Might of Heroes on himself. Needs a 6, gets it with a 6. And it's on to the shooting phase. So we'll start with the Intercessors. The front 3 are in rapid fire range of the Poxwalkers, and the other 2 at the back aren't. So we'll do 8 shots hitting on 3s. That's better. 7 hits. Wounding on 3s. Not so good, only 4 wounds.
No, -1 armor save, so no cover, and 3 go down. Just losing 3 off the back.
And the Hell Blasters are going to shoot at the Plague Marines.
Righto.
They're not in rapid fire range.
No.
And we're not going to overcharge. So 3 shots, hitting on 3s. 2 hits, wounding on 3s. 2 wounds.
I do have cover from the Blight Launcher's Aura of Fog, so 6s. Nope. And then Disgustingly Resilient. 1 more dice, so we lose the other bolt gun.
And that'll be it.
Yep, so another quick turn. We're going to be on to Death Guard turn 3. Plague Marines carrying on up the road. Then Poxwalkers are going to advance, rolling 2 dice again thanks to the Blightbringer. Only 3 this time. That puts them there, not quite into the deployment zone yet, but nearly there. Then the 2 characters will advance once again, so we'll do the Noxious Blightbringer. He gets 5, and the Biologous Putrefier gets a 5 as well. And that brings them up to there, making sure they're not the closest target, and the Blight Hauler has just come up a bit as well to make sure that Plague Marines still get cover. Just a slight adjustment, just to make sure the Plague Marines are within 2 inches of the ammo box. Then we're on to shooting phase. And I think everyone who can is going to shoot with these Hell Blasters. Do the Champion's Plasma Gun to start, so over supercharging again, 2 shots hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, that's 2 hits, wounding on 2s. Only 1 wound, and you've got a 5+ cover save.
5+, yes.
Okie doke. And then the Blight Launchers, 4 shots hitting on 3s. No. 4 hits. Wounding on 3 rerolling 1s, that's 3 wounds. 4+.
Made 1.
First one does 2 damage, and the second one does only 1 damage. So.
The wound on this guy at the back, and that guy will die.
And then we'll shoot the Blight Hauler at them. A crack missile will do first, I think this time, so on 4. Yep. Wounding on a 2. No. And multi-order hitting on a 4. Yep.
Of course it
hasn't missed yet. It did wound. 6+. No.
Nope.
So the injured guy goes down. And then that'll be it for my turn again, because no more shooting and no charging. So on to Space Marines, turn 3. Yep.
So the Hellblaster and the Librarian have moved up. The Librarian can still see the Plague Marines, and he's closest to them from there.
Yep.
Chaplain's moved up a bit, and the Intercessors are going to stay where they are. So on to the Psychic phase. The Librarian will try to manifest Smite. Gets it with a 6.
Just about.
D3 mortal wounds, 2.
Disgustingly Resilient. 2 Blight Launchers die.
And then the Librarian will try to manifest Veil of Time on the Chaplain. Nope.
We'll get it with a 12.
So he'll perils.
So he gets it, but it does go off.
But it goes off. He takes 2 mortal wounds, so he's down to 3.
On to the shooting phase.
Yep. The Hellblaster Sergeant will fire at the Plague Marine Champion. Yep. Try and get rid of him. I'll use my ignore cover, because I don't think it's going to be relevant after this. So he's got 2 shots hitting on 3s. They both hit. Wounding on 3s. 1 wound.
But I don't get cover, so I just need to make, because you're using your bonus, and he dies.
I gain a victory point for killing the Plague Marines.
So 2 to 1.
I'll do the Intercessors first. Okay. And they're definitely all in rapid fire range now. So we've got 10 shots hitting on 3s. 8 hits on the Poxwalkers, wounding on 3s. Only 4.
Disgusting Resilient. We made 1. So another 3 Poxwalkers go down. Take that one. And that one. And that one.
Chaplain will fire his Absolver Bolt Pistol at the Blight Hauler.
Okay.
I don't want to take any more Poxwalkers away. See, my charge gets longer. So he's got 1 shot hitting on a 3. He missed. The Librarian will shoot at the Blight Haulers for the sake of it. He hit. Wounds on a 5. On a 5. No. On to the charge phase.
Yes.
The Librarian will declare a charge. The Chaplain, sorry. Yeah, I'll declare a charge on both the Poxwalkers and the Bellman.
So the Bellman can overwatch. He's got a plasma pistol. We're not supercharging it, obviously. Fortunately, because he rolled a 1. So it didn't hit.
And then charge distance. I
6.
I did get Veil of Time.
Yes, you did. So 6 re-rolling. That's 4.
Re-roll that.
Re-roll.
6.
Just about.
Bare minimum.
So he's about half an inch from the Poxwalker.
So you get stood there. And then actually the Librarian will declare a charge on the Biologous Putrefier just for the sake of it.
Okay, well the Biologous Putrefier definitely can't see him, so... Oh, he's not in range anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Gonna need a big roll? No, not 4.
Not going to heroically intervene with the guy who is in 3 inches, so you get to strike in 5 phase.
So the Chaplain is going to pile in like this to get the Biologous Putrefier in, which is a risk, but I'm going to take it. And since I declared this guy as a charge target, I can attack him. 4 attacks, hitting on 2s, re-rolling. Right.
We're re-rolling all failed.
Re-rolling
That's just
failed.
2s in this case. Sorry, that's just 1s in this case. 2 1s.
2 1s. So it's 4 hits. Strength 5 because of his Credus Arcanum, so wounding on 4s. So it's 2 wounds. 4 plus armor saves.
Yes, it's -1 and 2 damage. So that's 2 damage, and Disgustingly Resilient ignores neither of them, so he's down to 2. Right, Poxwalkers are piled in, so they're going to strike. There are 3 of them who can get their attacks on. So 6 attacks, hitting on 5s. 4 hits. Okay. Wounding on 5s as well. Only 1.
3 plus armor save for the Chaplain. Made it.
Made it. And then they'll consolidate like that. Then we'll do the Noxus Blightbringer. Yes, 3 attacks, hitting on 3s. 2 hits, but Death of the False Emperor on 2 of them. That gives me 3 hits in total. It's his strength 4, so winning on 4s, rerolling 1s. No, 1 wound, and it's a normal armor save.
Yeah, 3 plus, but it is 2 damage.
2 damage if it does go through.
3 plus armor save.
No, you
Made it.
And Biolog's Putrefier is piled in slightly, so he also has 3 attacks, hitting on 3s. No.
Oh.
And that's going to be the end of Space Marine's turn 3, so we're going to be on to Death Guard turn 4. Well, the Poxwalkers have fallen back into the objective zone, as has the Noxus Blightbringer. The Biolog's Putrefier is going to have to bravely hold the Chaplain up, because if I don't do that, then at the end of my charge phase he could just heroically intervene. He could just heroically intervene into the Poxwalkers. We don't want that. We'll see. And then the Blighthauler is also moved away so that you can't pile in round the back of him and bring it into melee, which you also don't want. But it can shoot, so it will shoot at this Hellblaster Sergeant over here.
Yep.
See if I can take him out, because he's worth a victory point, and also he can't get into the objective zone. So the multi-melter hits on a 4. It does.
Yep, it hasn't missed yet.
Nope. And it wounds on another 1.
Oh.
And the Crack Missile also hits on a 4. No, I have rolled 3. But I do have the Bile Spurt in range now.
Yeah.
So D3 shots. 1. So
Phew.
you can't kill him. Hitting on a 4. Yes. Wounding on a 3. No. And actually I should have used my ignoring cover then, but I didn't, so I forgot. So I've still got it available. And then the Biolog's Putrefier has a pistol, which I'm not going to forget this time, so he's going to shoot the Chaplain. Hits on a 3. Yes.
Oh.
Wounds on a 4, because it's only strength 4, but rerolling 1s, because it's a plague weapon. Still a 1. The D6 damage pistol. You nearly had a heart attack then.
I haven't made many 4 plus saves this game, so...
No. That's it for shooting. On to the fight phase. No charging. Right, so in the fight phase, the Chaplain still has Veil of Time on, so he counts as charging, so he gets to strike first.
It's 4 attacks, hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s. Or rerolling fails, and
2
again,
1s again.
Come on. He's got to warm up each time. 3 hits. Wounding on 4s because he's strength 5. Nothing.
A probably equally ineffective attack. He gets 3, still 3 hits. Wounding on 4s, 2 wounds.
2, 3 plus armor saves. Make both.
Well, they're still pillow fisting each other, so that's the end of Death Guard turn 4. On to Space Marines turn 4.
So, the intercessors have moved around. So he's in the objective zone, but we're right up against the Poxwalkers. Hellblaster Sergeant's also moved, and his toe is in the objective zone.
Yep.
And the Librarian has moved around this way to get closest to the Biologous Putrefier.
Yeah, he is just about closer or equidistant.
Yeah, they're about the same distance.
Not that obvious on camera, but we did measure it.
Onto this psychic phase.
Yes.
The Librarian will try to manifest Smite.
Okay. Needs
a 5. Gets it with an 8. So it's D3 mortal wounds on the Biologous Putrefier. 3.
Got to ignore these. I ignored 1, so he takes 2 wounds. Down to 2.
And then he will try to manifest Might of Heroes on the Chaplain.
Yeah, okay.
Needs a 6.
Got it with an 8.
Yeah, got it with an 8, so it's Might of Heroes on the Chaplain.
Right.
Then on to the shooting phase. The Chaplain will fire his bolt pistol in melee.
Yep, his Absolver bolt pistol.
Hits on a 3. He hit. Wounds on a 4 because it's strength 5. He didn't wound.
Yep.
The Intercessors are going to fire at the Poxwalkers. 10 shots, hitting on 3s. So it's 8 hits. And wounding on 3s. 4 wounds.
Ignored 1, so yet again, 3 down. 3 down. Yep, so I've taken the ones closest to the Intercessors.
The Librarian will throw a frag grenade at the Poxwalkers.
Okay.
So D6 shots. 4. Hitting on 3s. Oh, they all hit. Wounding on 4s. Come on, frag grenade.
3 wounds. Got to make all of these. No.
Oh, frag grenades.
Right, I had to make one of them. So, frag grenade, Poxwalkers are fragged.
I get a victory
And
point.
a victory point. And also keeps them out of the objective zone. There we are.
And that means the Hellblaster Sergeant can now shoot at Bellman.
It does indeed, yeah.
Not going to overcharge.
Because if you kill yourself, you lose your unit. And I get a point. I effectively get 2 victory points if you do that. So, yeah.
So 2 shots hitting on 3s. 1 hit.
Good job you didn't overcharge.
Woundy on a 3. No, didn't.
No, he didn't wound.
Now the intercessors will charge Bellman.
We can throw a crack grenade at you because it's one shot and
Yeah.
it does more damage. Missed. Good thing I didn't shoot supercharge. That's the pistol.
5 inches is going to be in.
Right, so they make their charge like that.
Intercessors have charged, and the librarian is also going to charge the Bellman.
Okay.
Gets a 9. It's definitely going to be enough, so you can get into the zone as well. So charges go first. I'll start with the librarian. 4 attacks, hitting on 3s and re-rolling misses because of the chaplain's aura. Right, he doesn't need it now. Winning on 5s, 1 wound.
6 plus armor save. No.
D3 damage, 3.
Oh, he's got to ignore 2 of them, which he has. So he's down to 1.
And then the intercessors all get to go. 11 attacks, hitting on 3s and re-rolling misses. All those 1s and 2s. Turns into 3 more hits. Wounding on 5s, come on boys, big hits. 4 wounds.
So 3 plus armor save first. Failed 2, and I've got to, once again, I've got to make 2 disgustingly resilient, which I haven't. So he goes down, doesn't explode or anything.
They can consolidate 3 inches. They have to end up closest to the nearest enemy model, which is the Barachias Putrefier, so we can actually form a bit of a wall here to stop the...
Don't think I can actually get the Blighthauler into the zone now because there's too much stuff in the way.
Yeah, and then I get to pick which will be the chaplain. So he has 5 attacks, because I got Might of Heroes. 5 attacks, hitting on 2s, re-rolling misses.
Winning on 3s because he's an extra strength now, strength 6.
Winning on 3s because he's strength 6. 3 wounds.
Minus 1 AP, so 4s. Failed 1, but that's 2 damage with this thing, so... No, he's dead as well. But he does explode on a 4+. All his grenades go off. He does. So his explosion is everything within 7 inches takes a single mortal wound as long as it doesn't have the Nurgle keyword. And this Blighthauler does not, so it's fine, but everyone else has taken...
Well, no, he does have the Nurgle keyword, so it's fine.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, he does have the Nurgle keyword, so it's fine.
But the chaplain, the librarian, and the intercessors all take a mortal wound.
Yes.
Well, I'm up to 4 victory points now for killing 2 characters.
Yes, so 4 victory points to 2 now for the Space Marines as we go into Death Guard turn 5. So I think at this point I'm actually limited to playing for a draw, and that's only if all this shooting works. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the multi-melter into the chaplain, the crack missile and the bile spurt into this Hellblaster Sergeant over here. We will do the multi-melter hitting the chaplain on 4, re-rolling 1s, re-rolling 1s. It hit.
Still hit.
Wounds on a 2.
3.
Oh, on a 3 because it's not heroes, but I got a 4.
Yeah.
You've got a 4 plus invulnerable.
4 plus invulnerable save. Nope.
So 2d6 damage picking the highest. 6, double 6.
So chaplain goes down.
Super melted.
And you get a victory point.
Then we've got a crack missile at the sergeant. Hits on a 4. It does.
Oh.
Wounds on a 2. No, it didn't. Bile spurt, D3 shots, only 1. It can't kill him. It missed anyway.
Yeah.
Rerolling 1s because the ammo box. It did hit. It wounds on a 3. Yes, minus 1 AP.
4 plus. Made it.
He doesn't take a
Made
wound.
that on a save.
And then I think I can't possibly win here, but we're going to charge the librarian just because we can.
Okay.
Because if I kill him, I have moral victory.
Overwatch with the crack grenade. Missed.
Then 5 inches? Yeah, that's enough.
It's got to be enough.
If I kill him, I can pile in to be in the objective zone. So we're going to try and do that. So we've got 3 attacks, hitting on 4s. And 2 hits.
That's enough.
Wounding on 3 rerolling 1s, I think.
Is it strength 6?
Yes, it is strength 6. So that's 2 wounds, and it's AP minus 2, I believe.
5 plus armor saves. Made 1.
Oh,
That's only does
he's
1
alive,
damage.
so it takes 1 damage, and he gets to hit back.
Yeah. So I'm going to take it with the Force Sword. Potentially I could kill it. He's got 8 wounds.
Yeah, and then it could blow up and kill him.
Yeah.
But
We'll go out. Blaze of Glory. 3 hits, because he's hitting on 3s and Chaplain's dead. Wounding on 5s. 2 wounds. Right,
you can't kill it, but it's made both of its vulnerable saves, so they just bounce off. And then, it's going to be Space Marines turn 5, where you can fall back.
I'm just going to fall back
onto the objective.
Into the objective zone, so we can't die.
4 victory points to 3 to the Space Marines, and then you get 3 more for having units in the objective zone.
I'll move the Hellblaster in as well.
So it finishes 7 victory points to 3 in favour of the Space Marines, so definitely a Space Marine victory. We're going to recap all that for you now. Well, that was the game from issue 35 of Warhammer 40,000 Conquest. Didn't go how either of us were expecting it to go, I think, given the first couple of turns.
Didn't expect to do quite as well in melee. Perhaps I think I underestimated the Chaplain a little bit. Could see he's having to face Lord Felthius. Perhaps overestimated your 2 characters in melee a little bit. And I think part of the reason I underestimated the Chaplain is that +1 strength. I think actually makes quite a big difference from his Crazius Arcanum. So he's winning on 4s.
Yeah, he did quite well in melee with the 2 damage.
Yeah, and the 2 damage as well.
Also, it's quite good. It'd be good against... We didn't get to see him against Plague Marines, but he would be good against Plague Marines because be forcing him to make 2 disgusting resilience.
I was looking at it and thinking, well, the melee bonus, I guess in like a bigger game with Primaris armies, he kind of doesn't really fit because there aren't really that many Primaris units that... When you've got Reavers and Aggressors, are sort of the only melee units Primaris Marines actually get. But on games that we play in this sport, it usually ends up in a big scrum at the end anyway. And just having to get into all those rerolls helps. It's like the captain, but even better.
Yeah, I mean,
just the extra efficiency adds up.
Absolutely, like when you charged in your full squad of intercessors, they got a ton of attacks and got to reroll all their failed hits. So actually, you got quite a lot of having 2 attacks on each model means that rerolling them.
The extra hits do add up over time.
Actually, it's a point. At the time of recording, the new Space Marine Codex has just been teased because we're recording these after the issues come out, not actually in the week they come out. And that has promised chaplains with a range of different abilities that you can pick some of, a bit like a Psychic Discipline at the beginning of the turn. Rather like the new rules for the Dark Apostle in Codex Chaos Space Marines, if you're familiar with that. So, possibly in as little as a few weeks' time, the chaplain, at least officially, may have some different rules, though we might not see them in the magazine for some time. At which point he might have different abilities that will be more applicable to some Primaris shooty armies, maybe, rather than having the melee bonus. Well, I did get to melt your chaplain. At the end, it was just playing for a moral victory.
Yeah.
I could have got a draw, I think, if all my shooting had killed all of its targets and I'd managed to eat the librarian in melee as well.
You would have been on 5 if you'd killed the librarian as well. And then I think you might have won from First Blood then.
Yeah.
I was on 4 victory points at that point, so yeah.
I think you're probably right. I was pretty up against it having to run the length of the table anyway.
Yeah,
those Plague Marines had to move every turn to get within range.
Let's start over 20 inches away.
Yeah. And the Blight Hauler has a long move, but actually in the end you managed to pretty much block him out of the objective zone anyway. That was fortunate rather than planned, but perhaps I should have got him a bit closer. But then if I had, you would have charged him.
I probably should have moved the Intercessors up earlier anyway, and then I could have charged the Poxwalkers. At the same turn the Chaplain charged, and I might have been able to stop you that way.
Yeah.
I think I did make the right choice not bringing the Hellblasters and the Librarian on straight away, because you would have just shot at them.
Yeah, I mean, I shot all your Reavers off the board, but the alternative would have been you might have had a couple of Reavers left and 2 or 3 fewer Hellblasters instead. So, yeah, it probably saved them, or at least saved the side.
The Hellblasters nearly died with the amount of fire they took. They probably should have. But
as usual, actually, my Plague Marines demonstrated that they can just pick Space Marines off the board however they feel like. And also the Power Fist as well. That's because, as you say, it usually ends up in a scrum at the end, and having a Power Fist in the scrum it can be quite useful. Because once you got rid of them, I actually struggled. Because I only had the Blight Hauler at that point to really be able to do very much.
The Blight Hauler did really well again. I mean, it only has a 4+ ballistic skill, but you wouldn't know how often it hits.
I know, it's a bit ridiculous. It's funny because the point where you kind of charged out with your chaplain and your librarian and whatever, I kind of thought, you were thinking, I'm not going to win this game, so I might as well just charge. What I would have done in that position was probably moved into the objective zone and tried to hold it, because that ultimately is what decides the game. But in a funny kind of way, actually, it worked out and it won. Because by charging out, you held up my 2 characters so they couldn't do anything special in the following turn, not that either of them have that much power. And I had to stay in melee to make sure you couldn't heroically intervene into me and all that kind of stuff, because the Poxwalkers are so slow that if they fall back from melee, you might well be able to just intervene straight back into them instead. So yeah, it kind of stole the initiative from me, actually, that, and forced me to...
And the Librarian actually did fairly well this game. You did get a perils, but you got the good kind of perils where the power goes off as well.
Yes.
I was going to say, it's kind of like the opposite outcome of the issue where we first got the Gravis Captain. When the first couple of turns was me shooting you a lot, but then once you finally got into melee, you killed most of my models. Yeah. This was the other way around, where you shot most of my models to begin with, but then once I got into melee, I started to win.
Yeah, I didn't have any powerful melee characters. So, the Foul Blight Spawn and Lord Fealthis are the 2 people I can rely on to do something.
Yeah, the Biologist Putrefy is kind of hard to use.
Well, his weapons are such short range that there's a fine line between getting him or someone else in range to chuck a grenade and being in melee where you can't do anything.
Yeah, and the Bellman's kind of...
Well, the Bellman, I mean, okay, so as usual, I'm going to talk about how he has no uses. He made people run a bit faster, which in a game when I had to run across the board was potentially a bit useful. If I had not had him, I don't think the mission would have been any harder for me, let's put it that way. Although, the Poxwalkers may have gained a few inches, I still think I would have wanted to keep my army together and not sprinting off with sections of it by itself. So I might have got there a couple of inches later. Yeah, I still don't really see the point in him. Well, yeah, I still wouldn't take him in my own army, I don't think. Anyway, I think that's all there is to say for this mission. So if you enjoyed this, please give it a like and subscribe for more episodes like this. If you have any thoughts about how we did, we've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye for now.